An Educational Psychology Philosophy Guide. Chapter 1. A formal field of study called educational psychology. Educational psychology, an oxymoron? Education is supposed to be about an open exploration of life. Psychology is an attempt to define life into predictable theories. What gets me about most of my formal schooling is that it was always about learning other people's stuff. They never told me I have my own purity. Discover it and live by it. I first had to undo all my indoctrination, then I become free to live by own purity and say to myself, screw the world with all its bullshit. Education is not a bunch of discrete, mechanical one-liners derived from psychological research. It's the human spirit in action. Is there a psychology to education, or is it all about spirit, what you feel inside naturally, including your motivation to learn? To me, this is more proof of how we degenerated into a capitalist, psychobabble society detached from our true natures, who we really are, where we got phony intellectuals on university campuses doing research to supposedly dissect the rules or stages of learning as opposed to listening to the natural intuition our gods gave us. It's like they're trying to dissect the human soul into a million one-liner tidbits of knowledge they supposedly get from the psychobabble experiments they do, but all these one-liners are just discrete bits of mechanical advice that don't stand a chance next to the individual who knows that education, the intrinsic thirst for knowledge, is man's only hope both for inspiration and survival. It's a holistic thing that consumes the human spirit. It's not about rote learning, tests, grades, performance objectives, the standard curriculum, etc. There are only two aspects to education. Teach and learn for the natural love of it. Coerce people to learn and be indoctrinated through a system of rewards and punishments. The formal field of educational psychology is about how to teach, how to learn, how people and animals learn, the joys of teaching, the challenges of teaching, major theories and models of learning, types of learning, audio, visual, rote, doing, etc. Jean Piaget theory of childhood development, social development, moral development, multiple intelligences, gifted students, students with special educational needs, disabilities, physical and mental, learning disabilities, behavioral disorders, motivation, classroom management, stimulate students' thinking, critical thinking, creative thinking, problem solving, behaviorism, Bloom's taxonomy, classical conditioning, constructivism, psychological constructivism, John Dewey, Jean Piaget, assimilation, accommodation, equilibrium, schema, social constructivism, Jerome Bruner, instructional scaffolding, Lev Vygotsky, zone of proximal development, discrimination, extinction, extrinsic motivation, generalization, learning, intrinsic motivation, metacognition, cooperative learning, grading and reporting, standardized and other formal assessments. There are lots of other topics within the field. To me, all this research they claim to be doing on how we think and learn is basically a pile of meaningless data, because anybody who has got any intelligence follows their true natures, intuition, and essences as individuals. Teaching you how to think is like teaching you how to live. It can't be done. You can't light anyone's fire for life. You can help them light their own fires only. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. The individual either has the intrinsic desire to do it or he doesn't. A teacher basically feeds you the facts and tries to inspire you. If you're striving towards enlightenment, it will all unfold inside of you in due course, provided you're free and strong enough to follow your inner voice. You figure it out through trial and error, reading, talking to others and experiencing life as you live it. If you're a gifted kid, which they classified me as in grade school, the teachers were irrelevant. Most of them were decent people with good intentions, but I was off in the corner doing my own thing, exploring my natural love of my life. Most of that stuff I learned was by myself, reading it in a book. I had a few years there where everyone in the class worked at their own speed. I whipped through those textbooks, got high marks in the tests, then they left me alone in the library for the rest of the year. That was a dream education for me, to do whatever I wanted. Then in grade 8 I had to go back to the old way, follow the standard curriculum at the same speed as the rest of the class. It's not the best way to learn. All those theories they come up with on how to learn are basically meaningless ivory tower one-liners. You are who you are inherently in your essence as a human being. You either honor it to become an autonomous, creative intellectual individual through your own efforts, curiosity, and motivation, or you allow yourself to get brainwashed by all that artificial knowledge out there that all those formal academic institutions and disciplines have created. They got education packaged into a big phony field of supposedly how we learn when it's the most natural thing in the world. I'm not judging anything. I'm just telling you the way I, as a free-thinking man who was once brainwashed by the artificial values of the world, sees it now. But don't listen to me. Go to the horse's mouth yourself and read all that modern-day fake social sciences knowledge snake oil they created to sap whatever might be creative, pure, and true out of the naive people out there. The only truth is to live by your true nature by firstly discovering it, then honoring it by releasing most of that natural energy every single day, always being aware when someone is trying to indoctrinate you with artificial knowledge, aka the bull's tea of the world. If you got the guts to do that, you don't need any of that humanities crap they're teaching at colleges, pretending it's real, authoritative, formal, advanced knowledge. We have mechanized education so much that 90% of all the students are there to try to get good marks. The beauty, natural love, and intrinsic thirst for knowledge is gone. It doesn't even exist with a lot of teachers. It's just about teaching the curriculum to try to get the class to score highly in the standardized tests. They lost the spirit of the Renaissance man liberal education concept, where the likes of Aristotle, Da Vinci, and Michelangelo did what they did for one reason. It was their true nature. They loved to do it. It was the only way they stayed inspired, thrilled, and excited about their lives day after day. Most kids nowadays, as soon as they pass a course, throw their papers away and forget about it. A part of that is the cultural indoctrination of reducing education down into grade levels, subjects, and tests. Where's the spirit of it? Do it for the love of your right of the human condition. There's almost nobody teaching that except a few charter and private schools and a few enlightened public school teachers, but they're often reined in and ordered to stick with the standard curriculum, and that's it. The purpose of life is to discover your true nature, then figure out how to earn a living at it. It's not about being brainwashed to follow some canned program, get a few degrees, then work at some dull job for 25 years or so as a good little functional clone. If you do this, you're spiritually dead by 40 because you betrayed your true nature, who you were born to be by nature. Is it worth it to sacrifice the free, full pursuit of your life for an average job? Are you selling yourself short? Do you have the guts to do what you really want to do, what you were born to do by nature? Virtually everybody my age is spiritually dead. They do not have the ability to think their own thoughts purely and freely away from everything they've ever been brainwashed by. They just assume things like monogamy, paternalism, materialism, and upward socio-economic mobility are the markers of success and happiness in life, without ever questioning themselves to see what they're really all about away from society's rules and traditions. It's a tragedy that's so big that no one seems to realize it exists, or they just deny it because everybody likes to think they're pure and free even when they're not. It's hard to admit that you've been living a wimpy life following artificial standards you got brainwashed by, rather than being true to your pure inherent essence as a human being. Do you color your hair? If you're a guy, do you wear an earring or a tie, a noose? Do you believe there's a legitimate mental illness called manic depression or attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or is it all a bunch of bull geared to suck naive people in and make money off them? Have you ever taken a so-called mental health drug because some drug salesman masquerading as an expert in life told you to? Did you ever buy a certain brand of any product because you wanted to look cool and or feel special, like you belonged to some elite group within society? I rest my case. Still, nobody thinks they're brainwashed. The ultimate purpose of education is to culture the ability to think your own thoughts and find the knowledge you need to help you do what you want, not impressed, brainwashed, or intimidated by all the artificial knowledge the world is constantly bombarding at you. Educational psychology for teachers. Will educational psychology help you become a better teacher, or does it always go back to your intuition after you try their one-liners that don't seem to offer much insight into what motivates people? Their dry term classroom management pretty well sums it up. Teaching should be about expressing your love of life in a spiritual way, not about rules and management principles. There are at least 100 academic journals out there dealing with educational psychology, like Action Research, Advances in Developing Human Resources, Cell Biology Education, Childhood Education, Cognition and Instruction, CSS Journal, Computers in the Social Studies, Early Childhood Education Journal, Education Policy and Analysis, Educational Psychology, Educational Researcher, Educational Theory, Effective Teaching, Harvard Educational Review, Interact, European Platform for Interactive Learning and New Media, Journal of Applied Psychology, Journal of Children's Literature, Journal of Computing in Higher Education, Journal of Cross-Cultural Psychology, Journal of Educational Psychology, Journal of Instructional Psychology, Journal of Learning Disabilities, Journal of Research in Science Teaching, Journal of the Learning Sciences, Phi Delta Kappan, Reading Psychology, Review of Educational Research, Revista Iberoamericana de Educación, Revista de la OEI, Social Psychology of Education, Teaching and Teacher Education, Theory into Practice, Urban Education, Young Children, Educational Psychology Bigs Hots. Find the so-called big innovators in how we think in a psychology textbook and books at number 150-159 and number 370-379 at the library. Some are David Perkins, Harvard; Edward de Bono, Lateral Thinking; Howard Gardner, 8 Stages of Intelligence; Jean Piaget, Stages of Childhood Development; Lawrence Kohlberg, Morality; Luis Machado, Paul MacCready, Reuven Feuerstein, Richard Paul, Abraham Maslow's Hierarchy of Needs; King Solomon, wrote Book of Proverbs; Robert Sternberg, Intelligence; Robert Seilwister, Stephen Covey, Habits of Highly Effective People. Educational Psychology Websites. 1. A guy by the name of Kelvin Seifert has published a textbook called Educational Psychology, a global text which he makes available for free on the internet. I found it at freeinfosociety.com. Era.net. This is the official website of the American Educational Research Association, a major umbrella professional association supporting educational research of all kinds. AFT.org, American Federation of Teachers. APERD.org, Association for Health, Physical Education, Recreation, and Dance. AAMR.org, Mental Retardation. acu.edu/academics/cas/psychology/grad_school/schoolresources.html. adl.org/tools_teachers/tips_and tibias_ed.asp, the Anti-Defamation League of America, an organization dedicated to eliminating racial and ethnic bias throughout society. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/educational_psychology, educational psychology. Piaget.org, the Jean Piaget Society. PISA.oecd.org, Learning for Tomorrow's World. Psychology.wikia.com/wiki/educational_psychology. Psychology/educational psychology.jsp. Psychwatch.com/schoolpage.htm. Educational Psychology Websites. 2. Schoolsci.com, Schoolpsychology.net, Schoolpsychologyresources.wordpress.com, ScienceCentral.com/site/43617. SCRA27.org, Society for Community Research and Action. SDE.idaho.gov. SEEB.envmed.rochester.edu/JABA, the Journal of Applied Behavior Analysis. SearchPsychologySchools.biz. Socialstudies.org, National Council for the Social Studies, NCSS. tandf.co.uk/journals/carfax/0144341.html, Educational Psychology. teacher.scholastic.com/tools. teacher.scholastic.com/tools/class_setup/right parenthesis. teachnet.com. cognitivedaily.com. Crow, course resources on the web. noctarel.edu/crow. Encyclopedia of Psychology. Psychology.org. Psychology Lectures of Alan W. Lanning. lanning.org/internet/lectures.html. Information about psychology for K-12 schools, and beyond. Online chools.org/resources/psychology. PC Wholesale, Memory and the Human Brain. pc-wholesale.com/articles-memory-and-the-human-brain.html. American Psychological Association. 800-374-2721. 202-336-5510. apa.org. National Association of School Psychologists. 4340 East-West Highway. Number 402. Bethesda, Maryland 20814. nasbweb.org. nasbonline.org. School psychology websites from dmoz-odp.org/science/social_sciences/psychology/educational_and_school. School psychology subcategories. Educational psychology. Educational testing. School psychology. apadiv15.org, APA newsletter for educational psychology, archive of newsletters published by the American Psychology Association's Educational Psychology Division. Chapter 2. An Education Philosophy Guide. Education Philosophy/Educational Philosophy. Our school systems focus on reading, writing, arithmetic and science in order to prepare students for the workforce. There's more to life than this. The main thing is the ability to think on your own and critically analyze whatever information you come across, brainwashed by none. Question everything. Culture a curious, inspired mind. You need research methodology knowledge, how to find information you are looking for quickly. Think creatively by listening to your own intuition. Teach by setting examples through your own actions. Conversation. Showing. Allowing the child to do things to learn by trial and error. Children should learn about managing money, credit, and frugal living. Learn to believe in yourself and block out negative thinking. Learn to be vital and inspired by following your true nature, which is your true purpose. Learn to be peaceful and cooperate with others. Learn that making friends and allies is better than making enemies. Learn how to relate, empathize, and love others. Learn to be a good listener. Learn the art of conversation. Learn car and home maintenance. Learn how to clean clothes and your home. Learn how to be happy and enjoy your life by earning your self-respect every day. Learn how to make friends and find a mate. John Dewey, American Champion of Education. Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself. John Dewey. infed.org/thinkers/et-dewey.htm, John Dewey. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/John_Dewey, John Dewey. edrev.org/experience.html, experience education by John Dewey. ed.gov/databases/eric_digests/ed426826.html, the Foxfire approach to teaching and learning, John Dewey, experiential learning and the core practices, Eric Digest. Progressive education info. Progressive education is the idea started in the 19th century by John Dewey that all children are entitled to a free education. They should learn about what is going on in the world and have some freedom to explore their own lives. This is more liberal than the authoritative approach to education, which wants children to sit quietly and learn what they're taught without thinking their own thoughts. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/progressive_education. BelieveAllThings.com/339/progressive-education-America. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/progressive_era. edci815s12.wikispaces.com/noteworthy +educators +of +progressive +era. ehow.com/about_6390023_progressive-education-theory.html. Integration of information, how we think. The following factors are a loose structure of how we analyze information. A problem in any of these stages could cause a learning disability. Recognition of information, you take in sensory input, vision, hearing, touch, smell, then analyze it to make sense of it. You selectively attend to one manner of incoming stimuli. You can discriminate between different incoming stimuli. Interpretation of information, you make sense of the information received. You organize information, sorting, sequencing, linking to existing database in your mind. Storing information is putting similar information together for easy access. Retrieving information is how quickly you can access stored knowledge. You have to be able to go into long-term memory to get out whatever information you want. Expression, communicating through oral, written or motor means. You have the ability to express your thoughts in a reasonable manner which other people understand. You don't speak too slowly or too quickly. You don't stand too close or too far from people when you speak. Your emotions are appropriate. You are not either over-emotional when you speak or show no emotion at all. You can censor yourself so you don't say inappropriate things. List of educational public domain books. These are books you can probably find at websites like Gutenberg.org, freeinfosociety.com, Munsees.com, or manybooks.net. Advice to a young man upon first going to Oxford, in 10 letters, from an uncle to his nephew by the Rev. Edward Behrens. A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man by James Joyce. The Book of the Dead, The Papyrus of Ani. By E. A. Wallace Budge. An Investigation of the Laws of Thought, by George Boole. Ancient States and Empires by John Lord. A Treatise on Government, by Aristotle. Algebra, Introduction. Coral Reefs, by Charles Darwin. Democracy and Education, by John Dewey. Egyptian Magic, by E. A. Wallace Budge. Draw Objects in Perspective, Graphic Design, U.S. Army Manual. Engines of Creation, The Coming Era of Nanotechnology. A Little Encyclopedia of Phonetics, by Peter Roach. 15,000 Useful Phrases, A Practical Handbook of Pertinent Expressions, Striking Similes, Literary, Commercial, Conversational and Oratorical Terms, for the embellishment of speech and literature and the improvement of the vocabulary of those persons who read, write, and speak English, by Greenville Kleiser. Geology, by the U.S. Army Engineer Center and School. Introduction to Paleoanthropology. Introduction to Physical Oceanography, by Robert H. Stewart. Introduction to Sociology. Law of War, U.S. Army. Legends of the Middle Ages, by H. A. Gerber. Outline of American Literature, by the United States Department of State. Outline of U.S. History, by the Department of State. Social Life in the Insect World, by J. H. Fabre. The Art of Public Speaking, by Dale Carnegie, aka Dale Carnegie, and J. Berg Essenwein. The Expression of Emotion in Man and Animals, by Charles Darwin. The French Revolution, by Thomas Carlyle. The Foundations of Geometry, by David Hilbert. Ralph Waldo Emerson, by Oliver Wendell Holmes. The World as I See It, by Albert Einstein. Atlantis, The Antediluvian World, by Ignatius Donnelly. Library of the World's Best Literature, Ancient and Modern, Volume 1, by Charles Dudley Warner. The American Scholar, Ralph Waldo Emerson. The Book of Enoch. A Daughter of Lilith and a Daughter of Eve, Kate Buffington Davis. Practical Mysticism, Evelyn Underhill. The New Avatar and the Destiny of the Soul, Gyra D. Buck. The Higher Powers of Mind and Spirit, Ralph Waldo Trine. The Secret Commonwealth, Robert Kirk. The Egyptian Conception of Immortality, George Andrew Reisner. U.S. Department of Education, Parent Power, Build the Bridge to Success. U.S. Department of Education Tips for Helping Students Recovering from Traumatic Events. Educational Philosophy Websites / Philosophy of Education Websites. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/philosophy_of_education, philosophy of education. 123helpme.com/search.asp ? Text == philosophy += education. Answers.com/topic/philosophy of education historical overview. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/education_philosophy. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/philosophy_of_education. Encyclopedia.com, Philosophy of Education. k12academics.com/educational philosophy. philosophyofeducation.org. philosophyofeducationstatement.com. plato.stanford.edu/entries/education philosophy. psychology.wiki.com/wiki/educational_philosophies. schoolforchampions.com/education/philosophies.htm